It seems like every mock draft I read about the Los Angeles Rams at pick 13 has them taking a wide receiver of some kind. And this article by Wyatt Miller at the Rams.com highlights that on his NFL mock draft roundup, latest projections. We're almost 1 week away from the draft. This is crazy. I cannot wait. I'm going to be live during the first round. Would love to see you there, and we'll finally find out who are the Rams going to take. But in this video, I'm going to talk specifically about some of these wide receiver prospects. I'm sure most of you can guess who the first one's going to be because it's the most common one. But feel free to put your comments and guesses below. Or if you think the Rams should not draft a wide receiver, you think, you know what? Puka Nacua and Davante Adams, Jordan Whittington, they got it locked down. That's okay too. I would love to hear your thoughts and comments. If you watched my video yesterday, which after you watch this, I encourage you to check it out, you'll see that I think that the Rams are going to trade out of the 13th overall selection. And, I could be wrong, and I think the Rams will take a tackle. But I'm happy if the Rams do take a wide receiver, and I'll get just as ecstatic about that. So let's get into this article here. I won't read the whole thing. Again, link in the description below. Encourage you to check it out yourself. But Wyatt points out, so CBS Sports has the Rams taking USC wide receiver Makai Lemon. Now, Lemon is the most common projection for the Rams at the 13th overall pick. He's a shifty route runner with the ability to manipulate leverage against man and zone coverage. He's got reliable hands and is tough to bring down after the catch. That really does sound like a Rams wide receiver. Despite lacking elite speed and size, Lemon led the Power 4 conference in receiving yards and yards per game on 74 receptions and scored 13 touchdowns in 12 games last season. Lemon can play inside, outside, and fits the Rams' offensive schemes. At either spot, he would address the Rams' need for a true wide receiver 3 this season, while also giving them a potential star for future alongside Puka Nacua. Yeah, like I said, the majority of mock drafts that I see has Lemon going to the Los Angeles Rams. But I'm of the mindset is, does he fall to 13? Only time will tell, really. Some of the other wide receiver prospects to get highlighted here is Bradley Locker from Pro Football Focus. He highlights the Arizona State wide receiver Jordyn Tyson. Tyson's draft stock is all over the map. At 6'2", 203 pounds, he's absurdly athletic, separating from defenders with ease and also winning jump balls while down the field just as seamlessly. He has the physical profile of a top 10 pick, but medical concerns make it difficult to project where he will land. And again, even just hearing that, I think the Rams do have a history of valuing health as wealth, right? So if that's a pick that the Rams would make at 13, I'm not sure they would want to take it on someone coming off of an injury, but you never know. Tyson missed time in each of his 4 collegiate seasons, but has been one of the more productive receivers on that stat sheet, and is more gifted ones on tape. It's difficult to pass up that kind of combination, but teams are wary of his injury history. If the Rams were to pick Tyson, he could serve as a big slot receiver or a dangerous outside option that would make the Rams offense even scarier than it was last year when they led the league in scoring. And yeah, that's another really good point. Is the Rams, they lost Tutu Atwell, but they still have Canota Mumpfield, they still have Jordan Whittington, to provide depth at that wide receiver position, and I don't think it's wrong to get excited about both of those young wide receivers developing, right? The reality is you have Puka Nacua, you have Davante Adams who command attention from defenses, right? So a really talented wide receiver 3 is your best option to draft someone in here in the first round, or is it develop who you got, right? Develop Jordan Whittington, develop Canota Mumpfield. And I don't know. I could see it. Anyway, Peter Schrager, he says Makai Lemon or Lemon as well. Rob Rang from Fox Sports says Texas A&M wide receiver Casey Concepcion. Oh, this is one of the only mock drafts that has Concepcion being picked in the top 15. Okay. He is a high end separator with elite quickness and run after the catch ability. Last season, he caught 61 passes for 919 yards and 10 total touchdowns for the Aggies. He played in the slot and the outside his lone season with Texas A&M and was their leading receiver by a large margin. His 440 yards after the catch ranks sixth among SEC receivers, and he also caught 10 of 15 contested targets, according to Pro Football Focus. Concepcion can stretch the field deep and make his own yards after the catch, making him a perfect fit for the Rams offense. And I love he puts in here. Let me be clear: any receiving core that includes Puka Nacua and Davante Adams is not actually in need. That's very true. Rang wrote. Inside linebacker and right tackle qualify better in the traditional sense of need, but Les Snead has attacked this offseason with a Super Bowl or bust mentality. Concepcion scored 28 touchdowns in 38 games in college. He drops the ball more than he should, but the ones he holds on to have a way of making it into the end zone, whether as a receiver, runner, or returner. I think he could give the Rams a similar jolt to the one Rashid Shaheed provided to the Seahawks last year. And hey, I'm cool with that if that makes the Rams special teams more of a weapon. I am all for that. If you checked out my video from yesterday, you know that I would love to see the Rams special teams actually be a weapon, right? Not play to not lose the game, you know, just we're the safest special teams ever. You know, we don't really take any risks or anything like that. But at the same time, doing that, sometimes the special teams became a liability, right? So you're not even doing what your goal was. Can the special teams develop into a weapon for the Los Angeles Rams, which really, like, when you have a team like Seattle in your division, defending Super Bowl champions, you have a team like the 49ers, you have a team in the Cardinals that you don't know what you're really going to get. Having this electric special teams unit would be such a new development for the Los Angeles Rams. When you look back to the Super Bowl year in 2021, that was a year I wouldn't say special teams was by any means the Rams' strength of that team, but it was definitely further along than what we had last season. And the Rams were made it to the NFC Championship game. I'm curious to see if this, wide receiver, pick at 13 comes true for sure. I'm curious your thoughts in the comments below. I am of the mindset I believe the Rams are going to trade the pick, and I think that their first pick that they actually make in this draft will be a tackle. Happy to be wrong, and I'll be excited for whoever the Rams draft. But those are my thoughts, my opinions. But out of these wide receivers that we kind of went out to today, if the Rams do pick someone, clearly I am on Makai Lemon. USC, right? Just down the street. He seems to have all the traits of being a Rams wide receiver. How can I not get stoked about that? So let me know your thoughts about Lemon and any other wide receivers that you like coming out of this draft. And as always, go Rams, horns up, and peace out. Let's go Rams. Feel free to like and subscribe, all that good stuff. Thanks for watching to the end of the video.